It's past 2, so we might as well get this started. Alright, so, um, basically what this is gonna be is an anime podcast. We don't really have a name yet. I don't really care what we call it. Um, I've thought of a few things in my head, but I don't really care either way. We can call it Gopher's Garden if you want to. I think that's a decent name. Um,
Oh yeah.
something. I mean, we could also call it like Weebcast or something. I
No,
haven't. Okay, you don't like that. I don't
I'm not
know.
a weeb.
You are a weeb. You just won't
No,
admit
I'm
it.
not.
Yes, you are. Um, if if so,
Weeb
uh,
is a lifestyle. It's not liking anime. You have to be a weeb. You have to be a weeb. You can't just like being a weeb is not being like an anime liker or like
mhm.
lover. It's being a weeb is being a hermit, which is what you are. I'm not a hermit. You are. So you're a weeb. I'm not a weeb.
Okay, fair enough. I don't care. All right, so we'll have to think on that one more. I don't care. We can call it Gopher's Garden if you want, cause it's not a
That's
bad
not
name.
very. That's not very anime though.
I know, but I mean, I don't know. So chat, YouTube, help us out with that. If y'all have any name ideas, we'll try to create like some type of poll or something at some point. But all right, let's. I guess we go ahead and start. Let's get into the conversation. So, Matt, you mentioned that you wanted to talk about like Japanese style anime slash manga, versus like the new Korean, Chinese
Yeah.
webtoon type
So like
anime and manga.
basically in this season, like this season's anime or whatever you want to call it, because they do like seasonal basis. At least that's what it seems like for us. Because I know it's probably not the same there, but for
Mhm.
us, it kind of goes by season. So it's like
Mhm.
fall, winter, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and kind of like there's always one big like headliner. There's
Mhm.
always one big show that comes out probably seasonal like season basis. And for this one, it's Tower of God.
Yep.
And what a lot of people don't know is that Tower of God isn't like a
Uh. Yeah.
Japanese style, like it's not a manga, it's
Mhm.
a webtoon.
Mhm.
And so a lot of webtoons, I think Mia and you have recently started reading a lot of them,
Yep.
but I didn't know that there was a place to read them.
Mhm.
I read one before and it was on a site that I didn't know, like I just
Yeah.
was reading stuff
Mhm.
and I've read one of them before, but and I could tell that the style was different because
Mhm.
it's a lot like in manga you can tell you're reading a book, but
Yeah.
in webtoons it's like you can tell that you're reading some kind of like web. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of like you're reading like a colored all colored
Mhm.
in versions.
Yeah.
So like it's
Definitely
like you're
different.
reading colored pages from manga
Mm.
all the time. And the art style is a lot different. Like
Very.
for and the animation style is going to be different too, which is something I want to get used to seeing is that there's going to be different types of looks for different types of anime
Yeah.
because Tower of God isn't animated extremely well. Like it's nothing like
Mm-mm.
say a Demon
No.
Slayer or like something that looks so visually appealing, but you can tell the art style like is there. Like you can
Yeah.
tell like that webtoon style is still like stuck in it
Yeah, it
because like
definitely like the webtoons definitely have their own art style. They don't all obviously they don't all look the same. Just like all anime and manga doesn't look the same, but it definitely has its
yeah.
own genre of art style,
Mhm.
which is cool. Which is like,
It
uh,
feels different.
yeah, exactly.
It feels like we're reading like stories and like we're watching stories that I feel like we've read or watched before. Like
Yeah.
it's like finding more shonen stuff that we've
Hmm.
that I because
Exactly. It's like a
I feel
whole
like I've
new.
read like
Yeah.
most of the new shonens. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I'm caught up on most all like
and
shonen
it's almost
manga.
like oversaturated at this point too. For me, I mean, like I still love it. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I've read all like One Piece,
Yeah.
Naruto,
Mhm.
Bleach, like all like obviously
We've
all the
I feel
top
like both
ones
of
and
us
all the
have read
yeah,
both like
and
all of the
so
big ones.
like when you and we'll tell y'all the app that we read this on in a minute, but when you showed me the app, it was like a whole new
Yep.
like
It was
just
crazy.
just um category of manga that I was like what that came in and was like this is awesome. Like I've read like before you showed me it, I'd read this one called Soul Land on Kiss Manga, of course, and and I'd gotten into like Tales of Demons and Gods and a couple of those before this. So I knew what they were, but I didn't know it was like this whole other. I didn't know it was like this whole other like almost genre in and of itself of manga, or its whole other category, I guess you could say. So it's definitely a cool new little
Mm, yeah.
world to embark in.
It was different, like especially for me because like I think both of us really enjoy reading
Yeah,
like more than we enjoy watching because like for me to watch something I have to be either really bored or I have to really like the manga.
exactly.
And
Yeah,
for Demon Slayer, I really like the manga, so
yeah,
I decided I was gonna watch it. But for like some of the like most of the isekais that are out now, I don't feel like the need to watch them, but I will like look them up. Like
yeah.
if I see it like getting a lot of popularity, I'll look it up and read it. But will I watch it? Probably not. Just because like I feel like it's a waste of time, especially like if it's not a big like if it's not like a culturally changing anime. Like I feel like Demon Slayer
It
kind of
is. I mean it.
gave that
Yeah.
that with the animation, like
Mhm.
I don't think there's been like a better animated series I've ever seen than that one, especially for a first season. For a first season anime, I've never seen anything like look that visually like appealing and
Yeah.
like you can tell. And I think Demon Slayer does have a good story, but it's more so like it's carrying like that story because like 20
Yeah. Same,
now
Derek.
you do not see 24
Hey, Cole, by the way.
episode like seasons anymore. Like it's very rare that you get like a 24. It's even rarer to get something that's like continuing like My Hero is.
Yeah.
Like my or like
Yeah.
something like
We're
that.
not
Like
gonna
it's
get more Naruto, One Piece type storylines
which
in the
sucks
future.
cuz
It does.
that's one of the things that really drew me to
Exactly.
like that the anime was like something coming out every week.
Yeah.
Like it
Exactly.
made me like it gave me something to look forward to.
Mhm.
But now like it's with it being like seasonal and stuff like that, it kind of like it breaks that like kind of that feeling of like something coming every week.
Yeah.
And with manga, like I get that. And with like anime, you have to wait. And I especially seasonal stuff, I don't like that. But
Yeah. I agree with
like
that.
and the thing like going back to Tower of God, I don't know how long they're going to do. I don't know if it's going to be seasonal. I'm guessing it will be because that's mostly how everything is
Yeah.
now.
I would
But
imagine probably 24
like
episodes and then.
the thing that scares me, especially with Tower of God, is how like sucky Bam is at the start. Like Bam sucks for a
Yeah.
long time. Like a long time, especially in the like
Which is
in the
very
webtoon.
which is very different from other webtoons, by the way.
Yes.
Which is
Like
very very different.
Tower of God gives me that more shonen feel
Mhm.
than most other webtoons
Yeah.
because Tower of God kind of gives you that what Japanese manga does more than webtoons is it develops villains better. In webtoons, it's more like you're getting you're getting like built up main characters. Like your main characters are broken. They're always like they're always super like strong or something. Like there's always a way for them to get stronger. But in webtoons, it feels like there aren't any like strong villains, and it feels like there's not like one overarching villain in a lot of webtoons. But in manga, they do a better job of building villains than
Yeah, I
they do in
agree.
webtoons. Webtoons are very like focused on your main character. They're
Yeah.
very like they're very like the main character is going to win. Like that's the type of
Yeah,
feeling that you get.
they make the main characters very very overpowered.
Yeah,
And
they're
and
like super broken.
and Tower of God does it, and I'm not is more shonen in that way. They do have like a like the villains you could say or the people he fights are a little bit more fleshed out and a little bit more powerful, like when
Hmm.
Bam fights him. Of course,
Yep.
Bam overcomes it because he's this, whatever. I don't know, I don't want to get too much into Tower of God 'cause it's so new, and I don't know if you because you mentioned that you hit a stale point with it and weren't and had stopped
Yeah,
reading it for a little bit.
I haven't been reading. I got to
Yeah,
about like halfway through and I stopped.
yeah,
But I'm once I finish another one that I'm reading, I'm probably gonna go back to it and read through it.
and
But
see like Tower of God for me like. like it is in my top 5 probably, like of storylines, and I'm big on storylines with and especially like in a big thing for me, and I'll go over this in a little bit because I want to talk about Demon Slayer and my hero, but like it's pacing, and I think Tower of God is maybe a little bit it's slower than other webtoons, but paced a little bit faster than
I don't know. I mean, the start of it is so slow. It feels like
yeah, but
the start is so slow.
Tower God's only gonna be 13 episodes, Derek.
Yeah,
I mean
see,
that.
like that's what scares me about it
Yeah,
versus other
I was hoping
webtoons
at
is
least
like
24, at least.
Bam in the start is terrible.
Yeah,
Like
it's
he's
not gonna
just
get off
doesn't
the
do anything.
ground. The anime's
But
not gonna get off the ground with that. I don't. I, like.
say
I mean, it
like
might, but.
say like if they decide to like animate a solo leveling, the the thing with that
Mhm.
is like I can see that just taking off.
Oh,
Like
that'll be huge. Solo leveling would be
but
huge.
but the thing with that is the animation like
Mhm.
there's a lot of like thing especially in the web like the people who read the novel are very picky about the way things look and they're supposed to look in the webtoon. So I think like it might even be harder to animate that just because of like the level in which like people care about how that thing how it looks and like that's the thing that scares me about them animating solo leveling. But there was one I think that would take off. It'd be solo leveling. I think
Solo
solo
leveling would
leveling
be
is
huge. I
like
think.
solo leveling has like a huge Reddit following, like
Mhm.
anyway.
Yeah.
Like it, and so like I think if one were to take off, I think it would be solo leveling.
Yeah.
But I do like Tower of God is kind of like that staple. Like I feel like
Mhm.
it's like their kind of Naruto in
Yeah.
the sense
I'll
that
agree with that.
like
I
it's
was gonna
been
mention
there.
that
Like
too.
I've seen Tower of God like on sites before, and I've seen like I've seen it like mentioned
Mhm.
before, but I've just never read it. But I feel like it's always been there. Like it's always been like a constant for like especially for like webtoon stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it's always been there. So that's why I'm happy about it getting like its shot
Yeah.
to get animated and
I
stuff
think
like
that
that.
yeah, like I hope this is I hope it does well.
Mhm.
I hope it
Yeah.
flourishes so that we do get other animes for
Mhm.
these. Like, dude, I got a solo leveling anime like that you mentioned would be incredible. I think and I agree that it would absolutely take off because it's just your main character is so fun to follow,
Yeah.
and he gets like cool power ups all the
Mhm.
time. Like
Yep.
it's just it's very
The
fun to
writing is
follow.
very good in it
Yeah,
too. Like the writing is very good.
yeah,
Like they don't there's not like a part I've read yet to where like
yeah.
it feels like the writing has let down the story or like he's
Hmm.
done something that like I didn't think he would do or something like that. Like I feel like the writing in it has been really good so far and that
Yeah.
makes me happy that like I feel like it has the biggest chance that or like God of High School, but God of High School
Which is coming out by the way.
feels like I feel like that one could be good, but a lot of people enjoy the latter half of of the God of High School too, and that scares me too because
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of the time, especially with these webtoons, is you have to get through the start.
yeah.
You have to get through like
Them
the
being
the
really bad.
origin part,
Yeah,
and you have to like wait for that good part of it,
but
and
I
like
don't see
that's what
that.
scares me.
I get that, but I don't see that as any different than Naruto. I mean, Naruto already has his power, of course.
Well,
Like,
the thing, and that's what I was getting to with like Japanese style stuff.
yeah.
Japanese style stuff, I feel like they do better at building the people around the character. So like
Mm.
when
I
you're
see what you're
saying
saying.
that,
I see what
like
you're saying. Okay.
like
Yeah.
in Naruto, you had Kakashi at the
Yeah.
start, and
Yeah.
Kakashi was badass. Like Kakashi was cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Sasuke was already basically a genius, and then
Yeah.
like it within 10 episodes, he gets his Sharingan, and you're like, what the fuck? Like this guy's the best.
Yeah.
And like even then, like with Naruto, like 15 episodes in, he does Nine Tail stuff. So
Yeah.
like he that like Naruto, I agree with you. Like in the start, Naruto is trash. Like he
Yeah.
sucks, but there are people like around him that make it better.
Yeah.
Like Gaara, Shikamaru, like Orochimaru. Like
Yeah.
you think about Naruto and you think about like it's a lot of times most people's favorite character in Naruto is not Naruto.
Oh
Like
yeah, no, I agree.
people don't most people like Naruto, but he's not their favorite.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
that's like the same for
They
me.
do build supporting characters
So like
a lot better. I agree
in
with that.
webtoons, like I can't name like most like so there are like good supporting
Mhm.
especially in Tower of God, like there are supporting characters that are pretty
Yeah.
good. But like in solo leveling, it's just like
It's
it's
just
just him.
yeah. I mean, you have the other like top. I forget what they're called now. The ones that
Hunters.
own the top hunters that own their own guilds and stuff. But they're not fleshed out yet.
Yeah,
And
they're
they're
not
not
there.
and they're
But the good
and
thing
you know
about
they're
that is
expendable. Like
yeah.
you can tell that they're
Mhm.
expendable. They're
But
not.
and the good thing about that is that Jinwoo doesn't get there's no like
Yeah.
he doesn't suck.
Yeah.
So like there's never like a part in which like you want somebody else to do something cool because
Yeah.
he's doing the cool thing.
Yeah.
So like but that's the thing that with like webtoons is like I read a webtoon to it's most of the time it's going to be like a super good main character. I
Mhm.
don't read webtoons for like I would say story. I read it like they're much more action based to me.
They are
Like
very action based because you don't
so
have those like those One Piece style
panels.
panels like journeys
Yep.
to Wan, I mean, well,
It's you don't
journey
get
to Whole
like
Cake Island, like
One Piece is like a novel,
yeah,
like in manga basically.
yeah,
Like you're reading probably like
it's
a
yeah,
thousand words per like
and webtoons it's battle, 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 like story,
yep.
battle, 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 story, battle, 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 story,
It's very
and
rare that you get like
yeah,
you get like the arcs move very fast in between each
mhm,
other and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's different in the way that like and you can tell there's cultural differences like within the two. Like you can tell like how like the art styles are different and stuff like that. But overall, I'd say like the stories are pretty good. Like I haven't been like I've read a lot of like Chinese ones
mhm,
and like the Korean ones, and they haven't let me like I haven't
nope,
really like been let down by one yet. Like I haven't really like started one and it's been trash.
yeah,
Like it's been just garbage. So that like is good. Like that makes me feel like good about it. And we've seen like we've seen Chinese ones get animated before because we
mhm,
got King's Avatar
yeah,
before, which is Chinese. So I'm glad that Korean webtoons are starting to get like their shot in animation. But
yeah,
the thing is like it worries me because I want more of them to get animated, and for that to happen, the ones that are getting animated now have to succeed.
yeah,
And it worries me with Tower of God in that sense because Bam is just so like slow at the start. He's just so slow. Like
yeah.
it takes him probably like 100 or 150 chapters to get like somewhere to where he can do
Yeah,
his own thing.
yeah, he's not getting protected anymore.
Yeah.
But I will point out, Tower of God's a little bit different, in the way that Bam is born with this. Yeah, Bam. He's a little bit different because let me compare it to like apotheosis and star martial god technique, right?
Uh-huh.
They don't like when the story starts, they're like they don't have their power,
Yeah.
like the first chapter they don't have it. um but it comes quickly, like 2 3 4 chapters in, like apotheosis, he awakens the ancestral god, I mean the ancestral dragon in his head in the cauldron, like 2 or 3 chapters in, but it takes him a while to figure out how to use it and then apply that in battle. And then with Star Martial God technique, the weird star crashing in his head vision type of
Yeah.
thing happens very early on.
Mhm.
But it takes him a little bit
A lot of the
to
time
apply it.
it doesn't take as long for those ones, but I
Yeah,
feel like the payoff isn't like
yeah, I'll agree
a
with
lot of
that.
the time in those you feel like they cheat.
Oh,
And a
hundred
lot of the time
percent, they're
a lot of the times
overpowered.
like you feel like
Yeah.
they are cheating because
Mhm.
they're so strong and they
Yeah.
get it so fast.
Yeah.
But with and that's the payoff that you feel with
Mhm.
shonen
Which is
that you
different from
don't
Tower of God. Very
exactly.
different.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is why I think this may be like they had to think this through. I think it was a good entrance into it because of it. It's paced a lot like Shonen.
Yeah.
it's paced more like
That's
shonen
I wish
than
they would
other
have.
webtoons.
I wish they would have probably given like. I wish they would have tried and do 24. Like I
Yeah,
wish they would have tried
exactly. That's what I'm
to do
saying.
24
That's what
because
I'm
I feel like
saying.
if they would have got 24, they might like.
Yeah, I don't think 13's enough to get Bam to the point where people are like, he's
I want
cool.
to watch this.
He's
Yeah.
cool and like want to follow his story, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's going to be the big thing going into the end of it is what point can they get to, because I know through watching YouTube like episode 2 was chapters 6 through 11. That is not enough. He's not like at that point he's literally and I assume, and I'm not, and this is in the anime, I'm not going to spoil any of the manga, but he's literally sitting on a throne with a crown on his head getting protected by his teammates, right? He's literally getting protected, and that's it. He's not fighting. I mean, we see a little bit into the episode where he into the newest one, if you haven't watched it, sorry, he protects Rachel, right? But he literally gets fucked up. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't do it. He
And
literally
that's
just
that's
jumps
all that
in and takes,
happens for a while.
and you get a glimpse of his power that he has, like his innate ability that he was born with. But he still gets fucked up. I just don't know if 13
Yeah.
episodes is gonna be that. We're 5 episodes in,
Yeah.
and he's
And
just getting fucked up.
that's what really worries me about it because I feel like it's a story that deserves to be told. Like I definitely think it's
Yeah.
better than most anime that's out right now. But
100%. Yeah.
the thing with it is most anime now are giving you a payoff earlier. And I feel like that's what has delved into this like style of anime now is that you're used to waiting so long for the guy or the main character to be good. Like
Hmm.
you're waiting so long for him to
Yes.
do something. You're waiting
Yes.
so long for things to happen.
Hmm.
And what's happening now is they're just giving that to you at the start.
Yep.
So like in this season, let's do like the eighth son. Like what do you mean or that whatever that one is like it's the eighth son.
Yeah.
And basically in that one, like the premise is the kid gets, of course, like he's a normal Japanese guy, and he gets somehow or another, like he dies, and he gets like reincarnated into like a 8-year-old boy who like has magic power in like a basically like a medieval world,
Yeah.
and he's like the eighth son in a
Hmm.
in like a family, and like immediately he gets magic power. Second episode, he's getting trained by like a super mage, like
Yeah.
ultra god.
Hmm.
Like it's like immediately he's broken,
Yeah.
and that's like what people want. That's the type of
That's
stories that are.
easier. That's easier for people to watch.
Yeah,
It
people
is.
people are grasping
Yeah.
the story
Yeah.
faster. They're understanding. But the thing with that is that there's no long-term story, which is what people like the anime. I feel like a lot of anime now is they're getting like 40 chapters in because that's all that one has is 40 chapters.
Yeah.
That's all that anime like that
Hmm.
manga has for that one. And they're just picking these isekais out and just literally like throwing them and getting animated because they need stuff to animate.
Yeah.
Like, and I think if they started pulling from these Korean and Chinese, sources, and they started using them, that one, it would make the level in which you needed to get an anime much higher because you would need to have a good story. You would need to have things that would allow you to have like a good story, some like a good character, something like that. And what it feels like now, especially with like animated stuff, is they're just picking stuff to get animated. They're just
Yeah.
picking like easy stories, stuff that will like people will watch. Like I'm gonna watch that, like because I want to watch it, but like I also want to watch like Tower of God. Like we're not getting like super psychological like anime anymore. We're not getting Death Notes. Like we're not getting
No. No.
we're not getting Steins Gate.
Hunter
Like we're not
Hunter. I mean,
yeah,
like we're not getting
we're
that.
not we're not getting that kind of stuff anymore just because that's not what is popular
Mm-mm.
right now.
No.
Like what's popular right now is broken characters because you come from like
People,
years and years.
It's new, and it's different than what we've gotten
Yeah,
for
you come from
20
years and
years.
years of like you waiting so long
Yeah.
for these characters that you really like that you've come accustomed to do things. And like even in Hunter x Hunter, like Hunter x Hunter isn't done. And
No.
like Killua and Gon like aren't even that strong any
No.
like they're they're not like super strong.
They're not even
So
like,
like
yeah,
even in that storyline, like you're still not waiting for some like for the main characters to be like OP.
yeah,
Like it doesn't happen. Like the only one I would say like original anime that is like that is Dragon Ball Z with Goku, like cuz Goku's just the best. And like
yeah,
you understand from the start that Goku is the best.
yeah.
But they do have that portion. They do have that weight for a main character in Gohan.
Mhm.
So like there's there's I feel like that waiting of like someone to do something is always there. Like I feel like that's a shonen trope is that
Yeah.
you're waiting for that main character to get to that point.
Mhm.
And the payoff that you feel when they like ROP, like the payoff for Naruto is so big that it's
Mhm.
catapulted another story.
Yeah.
Like
Because people want to see him as
Boruto,
the Hokage. People
exactly.
want that.
Boruto is big.
Yeah.
It's like 140 like animated episodes
Yeah.
in, basically off the back of
Yeah.
Naruto and Sasuke. Like
Yeah.
it's
I mean, those
because of that
episodes
payoff.
where you see Sasuke, like adult Sasuke, interacting with people. I mean, with people in the Naruto universe, and especially Naruto himself, is so it's so cool to see
Yeah,
in any way. Like seeing Sasuke come back and be not a villain of this village anymore, be, some a type
being
of
him.
being Sasuke in his own way, but not a villain per se anymore,
Yeah.
which is cool. And seeing Sasuke and then seeing Naruto in this role that was built for him throughout the entire story, throughout years of us reading this, is an incredible payoff. And I'm so glad we and I personally am not a huge fan of the Boruto. I'm not a huge fan of Boruto.
Dude,
I
the
love.
manga, the
I've
manga
I've hit a stale point
that
with it,
that
but
hits different.
yeah.
Like the manga, like now especially,
Mhm.
like they introduced. So like if you haven't really gotten into the Boruto story,
One
like
sec.
it at the
But yeah, Derek said for him the mystery and the world building is keeping him interested in Tower of God, and
yeah,
and yes, with especially in the manga, I mean not the manga, the anime right now, there is a lot of mystery.
you
Um,
don't know
you
anything
don't
about the
know anything
tower. You don't know anything about
about
the world.
Bam. You
Yeah,
don't know anything about Bam. I mean,
yeah,
like Bam doesn't even know about himself, and
yep,
that's
yep,
the cool and that's cool in and of itself. He has no idea who he is. The like obviously, and it's not really been hinted at in the anime that some people know, who he is. Um, but that mystery is very cool, and the world building is good. And that's something big for me, and it's why One Piece is and always will be probably my favorite like story of all time, is just the massive world that Oda has built in
yeah.
in that
There's
universe.
no world building like
No,
One Piece.
no,
There's no
none,
story that comes close to One
no,
Piece. And the reason for that is Oda's had 1,000 chapters
yeah,
to build the world.
mhm,
Like that's what a lot of stories hurt me with
yeah,
is that a lot of manga and a lot of stuff gets cut short. Like Bleach, for
yeah,
example, was cut short. Like Bleach,
yeah.
if
We're
you
not gonna
don't
go into
if
that.
you've ever read Bleach, like Bleach at the end was cut short. Like
Yeah,
that's why Bleach ended,
mhm,
was that it was, it was canceled basically. And
yeah.
they gave him like a certain amount of time to finish the Bleach story, and
Oh
you can
yeah.
tell that the storyline dips. And like
Mhm.
Bleach is getting an anime soon, and I'm really excited for that because I do love Bleach. Like I love like, and that last season it does suck. Like it does kind of
Yeah.
it's not the best, but you
Yeah.
do get payoffs in it. Like you get to
Yeah.
see some Bankais and
He
you
did
get
a
to see
good
some
job.
Boruto.
I think
Yeah,
Hi- Kubo,
he wanted to
right?
give you the
Type
fan
Kubo.
service. Yeah,
Type
yeah.
Kubo is the author. He did a very good job of using the time that he had and finishing the story. I was not so much. I was more mad. I was way more like and
I didn't
I'll
like the
compare.
walk.
Yeah. I'll compare this to Sword Art Online in a minute. But like I was not mad at the way Tite Kubo finished it. I was way more like upset that they did not give him the time um that he needed to flesh the story out and finish it how he actually wanted it to finish. Way more mad about that. Sword Art Online with with the anime is so they had it will always be to me the biggest letdown because they had this hundred floor tower or whatever it was. We saw like probably maybe 10% of the floors. We didn't see. They rushed that so bad, and then we get these other, and I haven't even watched. I don't. I think I watched Alfheim for like 3 episodes. I haven't even watched past it because I'm so upset that they did not give us, at least like the growth of Kirito and all of that. It was literally just him
Yeah,
being OP
after
and
the
no
original
story.
one, it shouldn't have stopped. It should have
No,
stopped.
I agree. It's still called Sword Art Online, but then you go into these other games, and that's okay. I like that's cool because
No,
that,
the latest season was
yeah,
good.
yeah,
The
and
latest
I
season
heard
was
that.
good.
I heard that, and I'm okay with that. If I'm okay with if they would have been sequel seasons, if they would have fleshed out the first season. If that would have been way more fleshed out, not I don't even it was probably how many episodes was it? Probably like 50 or so the first season.
No, it wasn't that much.
It wasn't that much at
It
all.
was like it was
And
like
see, that's
30.
what I'm saying. If they would have fleshed that out and made
It
that
was like 15 for
100,
the
yeah,
original and like
100
15 for
episodes.
Alphon.
I'm not asking them to show me him fight the boss on every floor. Not asking for that. But significant floors. Like I know he was a solo character and that was his thing, he was a beater or whatever. But like and a lot of that would have just been him fighting bosses on his own, and we wouldn't have gotten Asuna. We wouldn't have gotten you
Yeah.
know, the actual villain type of stuff in it, uh, uh so soon. But that's what I want. I want that to be later. I want that to be like, oh my god, like this is really what happened.
Mhm.
But I also want to see his growth of fighting these bosses,
Yeah.
and so that's the difference. I'm actually mad at the speed at which Sword Art Online went and how it ended, but I'm not mad. Like I'm upset that Kubo was not able to finish Bleach how he probably envisioned it would finish
That
because it's out of his
that's like a normal thing. I feel like, especially with like these longer kind of anime
yeah, Derek.
and
That's what I'm saying.
mangas, is that they get pushed and they have like their time frame and then it's it. And with like that's what I hate about it, is that
Yeah.
like I want these long stories. I want like
Mhm.
700 chapters. Like I want that.
Yep.
But
I also
it's
want, I
it's
also
it's
like the
just not it's just not like a thing anymore.
yeah.
I feel
It's
like
not.
that type of writing and that type of
Mhm.
storyline is over.
Yeah.
Like we're not gonna get another One Piece. I don't think we'll ever get another Naruto that's
No.
that long. Like
Mhm.
I think like 300 to 400 chapters is now like gonna be the
The longer
usual
ones.
thing.
Yeah.
And like My Hero, like I can
I
imagine
don't
My
see
Hero
it.
going to like 500 chapters,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I can imagine that. But like I just don't see like there. I don't think
I think they're gonna
there will
be.
ever be
I
another
think
One
they're gonna
Piece
be a
that
lot
long.
more like Demon Slayer.
Yeah. I
I
hope Demon
haven't read
Slayer
into
isn't
it.
over, but
Yeah,
I think it's getting there.
I think it's about to be over, and I think that's gonna be more so the thing. But and we have about 20 minutes left, so I want to move into this as well and talk about Demon Slayer because it's something I want to talk about. Obviously, Demon Slayer is probably coming to the end in the manga. I mean, obviously the anime is gonna continue, but the manga is probably coming to an end. I haven't read into it. You're more in Reddits and stuff. Maybe
Yeah.
people have said a little bit more about that.
Well, the author is
Hey
pretty
Nick,
like
what's up, dude? We're talking.
the author has been pretty
Yeah.
at it feels like she's adamant. And if you don't know, Demon Slayer's author and
Mhm.
writer is a woman.
Okay.
If you
Yeah, I
didn't
didn't
know
know.
that, like
No.
she is like she's really like she's really active like in like forums and her community and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird like to
Yeah, we'll
see
talk
that.
about it,
but
Nick. One sec.
but she it seems like she's pretty adamant about not letting the story get drawn out, and
Yeah.
she's not gonna let like
Which is fair enough. Fair enough to her.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
like Tanjiro's story of like wanting to make Nezuko,
Yeah.
not a demon anymore,
Yeah.
which like if you're caught
and
up,
and
like
and
it's almost
it
there.
was written for one villain. It was
Yeah.
written for one overarching villain. It's literally called Demon Slayer. right?
Yep.
Or
Yep.
Kimetsu no Yaiba,
Yep. Demon
it's
Slayer, basically.
Demon Slayer, right?
Yep.
It was written for um it was written for the one villain. And
Yep.
that's it. And so I understand this one not getting not and I don't want her to either. I think this is how, like, if it ends soon, I think it ends
Mhm.
well
If
instead
there's
of
a
trying to come
manga
up with
that you wanna,
another.
if
Yeah.
there's a manga right now that if you've never read before, or you've never like
Yeah.
had the chance to read something, I I would read Demon Slayer,
Yeah.
because like the manga is just so easy to read. It's
Yeah.
just
And
so
it's
easy to
very,
read.
very different from other shonens.
Yeah.
Very,
It's
very
it's
different
it's
because
just, it sucks you in so
yeah,
easy. Like
it's
it's
very
so
you don't
easy.
get those.
Like the
It's
next
very different. Like
the
like
movie that's coming out, like
yeah.
it has my favorite character in it. Like
Yeah.
Rengoku, he's my
Yeah.
favorite. And like immediately when you read that, like that, the personality of like characters. I don't think I've ever read like a manga like that, it other maybe than Haikyuu, that the personality of the character jumps out at you. Like
Yeah.
you can tell immediately like what the guy like is like.
Yeah.
And like like Zenitsu, like it immediately, like what Zenitsu is about. He's a baby,
He's an idiot.
and like he's a baby, and that's
Yeah.
what he's gonna be. And
Yeah.
Tanjiro is the same.
Yeah.
From the first chapter, that Tanjiro is like the nicest guy ever, and like
Yeah.
you understand that that's his character very
Yeah.
easily. So like I feel like if there's something that like if you've never had the chance to read something before, I would, and it's not a lot. It's not like One Piece. You're not
Yeah.
reading a
No,
thousand
it's not.
chapters.
It's
Right
quick.
now we're at about 200.
Yeah.
So like it's just enough. Like I wish it was longer, and I really hate
Mhm.
like finding manga before like they're deep into it, because then I have to keep up with it, and I just don't want to do that. So the I would say reading Demon Slayer, or reading even if you've watched Naruto, I like to read it every now and then. I will go back and just read through it just because I like the story so much. But like I feel like if you've watched the anime and you really like it,
Yeah.
you should do yourself a service and read it, because that is the way that the author, a lot of times stuff gets animated and stuff gets said that isn't what the author wanted it to be like. You should do yourself a service, and if you really love an anime, or you love like something, reading it is like taking it to that next level. You get like that original feel of like what the author was trying to portray much better,
Mhm.
and it feels like the characters are much more like you're much more in tune with like characters and stuff like that. So I'm a big advocate for reading. I think we both are, because
Mhm. Huge. Yeah.
I read any story, any manga
Yeah.
that
And
I
yeah,
like.
and I don't watch, like, I really don't watch that much anime. Like, I do, like, I've been watching Tower of God, and I read, and I like to watch the 12 episode seasonal animes, just because, like, I'm not like, it's 12 episodes, quick. Usually they're pleasing. They're not super good, but they're pleasing to watch, and they're fun to
Yeah.
watch. But like, if there's a story like Tower of God, I watched the first episode and then went and read all of it because it was good, and I want to, like, because I had it in my queue, and I'd bounced around reading it, but the first episode, like, drew me in. I was like, I want to read this, so I went and read it. So I'm a huge, obviously you are too, huge advocate for reading. But it's just, but for me, it's a lot more. I can't wait. Like, I want to be caught up as far as I can be. And I like waiting week to week to read. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
back.
it gives you that original anime feel that we both got with
Yeah.
Naruto. Like I think
Mhm.
we both picked up Naruto when the
Yeah.
story was still going on,
Yeah.
and we got that that week to week feeling
Yeah.
of like I'm reading the story.
Yeah.
We're both invested in
Mhm.
the story, and manga gives you that feeling of that week to week wait for like that story, and
Yeah.
like it keeps you very much invested in what's going on with the story.
Yeah.
And like I love that feeling. Like I love that feeling of like I don't
Yeah.
like the Netflix thing of like releasing a show like binge. I don't really like that. Like
Yeah.
I've
See what
never
you're
been
saying.
one
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
that really likes that, I get it all right now. Like I
Yeah.
like waiting. I like waiting
Mhm.
like waiting for the next part. Like I like
Yeah.
having people theory craft about like what do you think's gonna happen. Like
True. Yeah.
a big thing about like Game of Thrones and Naruto
Yeah.
were like theory craft. Like what do you think's gonna happen? How do you think characters are gonna like do things? Like how do you think like especially with Naruto, like it was always like, you know, is Naruto gonna get the Rinnegan? Is Sasuke gonna get Rinnegan? Like what's gonna happen? Like is Naruto gonna like become like six like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
is he gonna become six paths and like is he
Mhm.
gonna become the sage? Like
Yeah.
I remember reading like theory crafts about all that kind of stuff like all the time
Yeah.
because I was so invested in the story. I just wanted more.
Mhm.
And it like that kind of feeling like is something that you don't really get right now because I mean you get 12 episodes. Like I mean 12 weeks is not bad, but it's just like you don't get that feeling of, you know, you're gonna see this character every day, like
Yeah.
every week. You're gonna
Mhm.
see like this storyline every week, and
Yeah.
it's just something that I think
Yeah,
like
something to look forward to for
yeah,
sure.
I
Like
agree.
because when I read when I read manga, I binge it like until I don't have any more to read. And so like knowing that I'm going to get more story later on is so big for me. Like obviously I love completing a story.
Yeah,
But I love that and seeing the end and how the writer decides to end it. But but I love having in my head, next week I'm gonna get another chapter of Tower of God. Like,
yeah,
next week I get another chapter um of Demon Slayer. But so we're a little bit less than 15 minutes left in our hour. I want to go back to our Demon Slayer conversation real quick. Another and because I wanted to mention this, another difference from it that was big for me, but and very different from other shonens was it is not scared to kill off its characters.
yeah. I
and
mean,
and and I
you're right.
and because like your main supporting characters in Naruto do not die. Like you
I mean,
don't.
they die, but they get brought back.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
like Dragon
and
Ball too.
yeah, Dragon Ball, like they get brought back. You don't have a sense of loss, and I
Yeah.
think that's big and it's something like, especially with Game of Thrones, like type
Of
like.
course, like one of my favorite characters is the one that fucking
Yeah,
dies in the
yeah, I know.
show.
Yeah,
It's so annoying.
I mean, like you have in Naruto, you have Neji, but Neji and Neji was cool. Don't get me wrong, Neji was super cool, and I know you like Neji a lot. Um, but he wasn't like
The boy.
he wasn't R.I.P. He wasn't.
He wasn't the guy. Like
Yeah, he
he
wasn't
wasn't
the
a guy.
guy, and
Yeah.
he wasn't even close. He wasn't Sasuke. He wasn't even Rock Lee.
No.
Like you know what I mean? He was cool,
He
but
was the perfect character to kill. Yeah.
exactly. So but it with Demon Slayer, it just felt like anybody doesn't matter who it is can die at any time. Like besides Tanjiro, obviously.
Yeah.
Like I would not
I
have been
don't think
surprised if Zenitsu or
see I don't think Zenetsu or like what's his name?
it is Pighead. It is Nick, help us out. It's gone. It like if you would have asked me an hour ago, I could have remembered it. But Inosuke,
Yeah.
um,
And
but
Inosuke will not die, but because
yeah,
like I just feel like there's no reason for him to die. Like
yeah,
I don't think it
I
would do
agree.
anything for
But
the
I wouldn't be
story.
surprised. That's what
I
I'm
don't think
saying.
Zenitsu or him dying will do anything for the
No,
story.
it won't.
Inosuke and
That's what I'm
Zenitsu
saying.
are
It could
basically
just happen.
yeah, Inosuke or Zenitsu are just basically comic relief. Like that's all
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah,
And so
true.
like
True.
I don't think there's any reason for them to die. However, like with the Hashiras, killing them gives you a sense of danger
Yeah.
because you know how strong they are.
Mhm.
And she does a really good job of building them, of
Yeah.
showing what like what it is to be like a Hashira and like
She
how
does.
strong
Yeah,
they
I agree
really
with that.
are. And when she kills them, it gives you that sense of like fuck,
Yeah.
like
And that's what I'm
they're
talking about.
strong.
Different from other shonen. Like
I mean,
very very
Naruto did that with Pain. I think Pain was the and Madara. Pain and
yeah.
Madara like Pain didn't kill anybody, but the act of destroying the village
Yeah.
built him as a villain.
Yeah.
And killing Jiraiya.
I mean,
He
there
did kill
obviously has
Jiraiya.
to be those things, but like to me, it's very
Pain killing
different.
Jiraiya was
Yeah.
Doing
Oh,
karate
huge,
was a big thing. Like
huge.
that was a big
Yes,
one.
that was a big one. But that's you remember that because that's one of the biggest like deaths in the entire thing.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's what it did. It built
yeah,
pain. It
yeah,
that's
and I
that dude
agree.
that
I
lets you
agree.
like get to pain. And Madara has like one of the best scenes I think of all anime. Like him just running at the Shinobi Alliance and killing all of them. Like I think like that's just insane. I mean, but Madara was built from the start. Madara was Final Valley like. Madara versus Hashirama, Madara versus, and like you hear Madara's name all throughout like the story. Like when you first see Sasuke again in Shippuden, it Kyuubi says like you have like the same ominous chakra as Madara, and so
Yeah.
like you're hearing Madara like throughout all the story. So Madara was like eventually you knew like Madara was going to happen, but um I would say like I agree in the sense that especially like One Piece, like I don't think anybody's ever died in
No.
One Piece. Like
No, seriously, like Jinbei didn't even die.
Like One Piece just doesn't kill characters. Like
No,
it
it
just doesn't
doesn't.
do it.
It does.
However,
Yeah.
I in One Piece like you feel like I feel like a lot of the times like I don't know what's gonna happen in One Piece.
No,
Like I
you
never
don't.
know what's gonna happen. Like I
Which is
never
cool.
know
I
like
don't.
where the story's going to go. Like, I
No,
never
and
know like
and see
what's
that.
gonna
I
happen in
mean,
that.
generally, as a like generally where it's going. You know he's traveling the Grand Line to get to Raftel.
Yeah.
You know that, but you don't know how it's gonna happen.
Like
You don't know the islands getting up to it. Like if you would have told me during Whole Cake that we were about to go to Wano,
yeah.
I would have had no I would have had no idea. I didn't know
Or
that.
him being Balloon Man. Like that kind of stuff like it's just like I feel like it's like
Gear
One Piece
four.
is like a fucking just comedy.
Yeah,
Like
even
that's
the
all it
villains
is.
don't die in One Piece. Yes, they come back as like they go to
Friends.
jail and they come back as
Yeah.
friends. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's very weird and
And
one
yet like One Piece doesn't get that trope at all.
no.
Naruto gets that trope, which is
Yeah.
so funny to me because One Piece is like the ultimate like kitty kitty like
Yeah, it
anime.
is. Yeah, it is.
Like nobody dies.
Literally
Like
an island for chocolate and cake.
yeah, like it's like the ultimate like kitty kitty anime, and like it just, I feel like it's because like you never know like what he's gonna do. Like he's an idiot, and
Yeah.
like you get that feeling like that he's just an idiot all the time, and it's weird that you feel
That's
that,
very
and like
shonen because Naruto's an idiot. Like
yeah,
that's
just
very
always
that's
go
a very shonen thing. Another difference that I see with Demon Slayer because Tanjiro's not. He's very nice, very very nice guy, but he's
yeah,
not an idiot.
and Inosuke is the idiot in
Yeah,
that one.
yes, yes. Fairy Tale too. Fairy Tale.
Fairy Tail just sucked. Like at the end, Fairy Tail was just trash. Like that's all that
They,
I'd say
I
about
think
Fairy
they
Tail.
did a better job of killing off characters than like One Piece.
Fairy Tail has one of the like, see like how you said you really like how like you like to see them end. I hate that. I don't think I've ever the only show, the only one that I've ever felt like some kind
Mhm.
of closure with is Naruto. And that's
Yeah.
because it's so easy. All you had to do
Yeah.
is make him Hokage.
Yeah.
That's it. And
Yeah.
like it's closure. And like Sasuke coming back. That was it. But with any other one that I've read, I don't think I have ever read
I,
or watched a show where I've felt like the story ended in the correct way. I
so
don't think I've ever felt that.
I don't. So I understand where you're coming from, but in my head, like
It's a
I don't
completion
care.
thing,
I
probably.
don't. It is. I don't care
Yeah,
how it ends. Like I do in a sense. Like if it's too fast, yes, I care. If it's too slow, yes, I care.
yeah,
Like the pacing, I'm big on pacing, but I don't care how it ends. I get closure from how it ends because it's not my story. Like this, you know what I mean. I'm not the like we are invested in it, but in
yeah.
actuality, it's not my story. I'm not the one writing
I feel
it.
like I always have like a way like that I believe it's gonna
Yeah.
end, and like when it doesn't
And see,
end
I don't
like
have that. I don't
in
have
that
a.
way,
I don't have
like
a. I don't have a pre-built ending for it. Like in Naruto, it's easy. Obviously, become Hokage. That was built from the beginning. Um, and I'm not gonna go into Tower of God and the similarities there yet, but hopefully down the line I can because it's very to me it's very similar. But um but yeah, I don't have a pre-built ending in my head like like you say you do. I don't have that. I have I'm anticipating the end, and I'm hoping it ends. I'm hoping it ends in a
I
completed
think I think Demon
state.
Slayer might give me that
Yeah,
sort of nice
because it's
feeling.
easy. It's easy.
Yeah,
I mean, and
Demon
and
Slayer might do it.
and I and Nick made a comment in chat. He said Demon King Tanjiro was weak, and I'll agree with that. But did you ever really expect it to go any other way? Um, did you like let's not spoil anything for our anime watchers here. Did you really expect it to go any other way than it did? I don't I don't really want to go too much farther into it. I, I didn't expect like the whole time he's in that state, Nick. I don't expect
Yeah,
him to.
thought
I never thought he'd go
that anything would
berserk.
happen. Yeah, I
You
never
know,
thought anything would happen.
no. And it has gone the exact way that I
Yeah,
thought it would.
yeah, I agree. Yep, me too. I knew that this would happen. I knew that like Tanjiro is such a selfless like
Yes.
character
Yeah.
that I knew of it like when I knew when Muzan started doing the things that he was doing,
Mhm.
I knew that it would go like this way, and I knew like Muzan and Tanjiro are just the polar opposite.
Yeah.
Like Muzan can't understand Tanjiro, and Tanjiro can't
No.
understand Muzan. So I knew like if it came to a point where Muzan was trying to manipulate him, I
Yeah.
knew it just wouldn't work
Yeah.
because Tanjiro does not like agree with any
Yeah.
sort of the ways
And
that
that might be,
demons in
and
the
that
show
might be
live.
the theme. Now that you say it like that, that is 100% one of the themes in the whole story is selflessness versus selfishness. So
Yeah, like
like Tanjiro,
Tanjiro
completely
does not care.
selfless,
Yeah, he does not care about
and
anybody else. I
Muzan
mean about himself.
literally has is the villain because of how selfish he is and wanting to live forever.
Yeah,
That is
he
it's the
made
like you're right, complete polar opposite. I haven't even
he
thought of that.
made
Great point.
he made the demons to do that for him. That's the whole point of demons.
You're
The
talking
whole
about
point of
Tundra, Derek. Derek said I was thinking maybe they would kill him for a bittersweet ending, and you know what? I don't disagree with that. I
But yeah,
think
that
yeah,
Derek, yes, that's what I'm
yeah,
talking about. Tanjiro is such a good character and he's such a nice
mhm,
person that if it took him dying for the story for like
yep,
Muzan to die, he would
mhm.
do it. I'm
Oh
like
yeah, and I don't
I
think anybody. I
recognize
wouldn't have a problem. Like
I
yeah,
recognize his character. I know he is the type of
mhm,
character to do that. So I accept that that could end. I accept that it would be end like that, and I wouldn't mind it because I know Tanjiro would do that. But the thing with Muzan is that he made the demons to do that for him. Like the whole point of the demons is to find a way for him to live forever. Like so the reason that there are demons is because of Muzan. Like that's the whole
yeah,
point is that Muzan made the demons to figure out how he could get immortality. The thing with Tanjiro is that Tanjiro like gets sucked into the story and wants to do like the only point of that he's not killing demons for revenge. He's not killing demons for like justice or
yeah,
anything like that. The whole point of him killing demons and putting himself as danger is to find a way to cure Nezuko.
yeah.
So his story is like of is point like he has no self like there's no focus on himself in his
Never.
story. And in Muzan's, it's only focused on himself. And that's I think is
Yeah,
the
that's
main thing
probably
for
the
that
main
story
theme of the entire story. Yeah.
is that
Now that you
is
say it
that
like that.
Muzan is just so he's just the most selfish
Yeah.
being like he
Mhm.
and when he's manipulating Tanjiro in like the last couple chapters he's just not like
Yeah.
Tanjiro just doesn't fall for it. He's like
Yeah.
okay like, I don't care like you can do whatever you want like I'm just not gonna like do anything.
Yeah.
And he and Muzan just can't get it. He doesn't get it, and
Nope.
that's the point with Tanjiro is that, and I knew that about Tanjiro from the first chapter because Giyu does that for him and like saying that like this kid like he doesn't care about himself like
Yeah.
he would do anything he knew like in the first chapter in the first episode he throws the axe at Giyu fully knowing that he's gonna get smacked and like he does it anyway just to get him away from Nezuko. So like from the first chapter you get that sense of this guy like is different like he isn't like selfish at all. He doesn't care about like avenging or anything like that. He is only out to do it for like him curing
Yo,
Nezuko.
Llama,
And
what's up, bro?
That's a cool. I like that. I like that sense of like I like that sense of like overarching like character development. Like
Yeah,
Tanjiro is a certain way, and
we are.
you see
Almost.
the people around him kind of becoming from his influence. They're becoming better people. Like
Yeah,
Zenitsu recently, like for the first time in the story, like doesn't have to fall asleep to do stuff, and like Inosuke, like recently he fought for someone else other than just wanting him to fight, and like the the development through Tanjiro just being himself is really good in the story. Like
yeah,
it's a really good it's a really good way to like develop people. And
yeah,
like Naruto did that, but he did it to other people.
yeah,
He did it to villains, and that's where people had a problem with it. In Demon Slayer, that doesn't happen. In Demon
yeah.
Slayer, they killed the villain, and then the
Mhm.
people around Tanjiro who are on his side changed because of Tanjiro.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a much more realistic way to develop people.
Kind of both, Llama. We're discussing both in a way without trying to spoil things for the anime viewer because I mean me and Matt have both read it. We're trying not to spoil so much. Not we probably have spoiled Demon Slayer a little bit, but
That's your own fault. If
yeah.
you haven't read the thing, it's your own fault. That's what you get. You're a dummy. You should read the thing. So
So
if you want to read if you want to there is no and like I understand people like thinking that like you want to watch the show for like you seeing like how it's gonna be and like all that stuff. And like I get that. I understand that. But there is a total difference in reading a story and watching it. You do not feel like any sort of different when you read a story versus when you
I
watch it.
don't ever.
So like it's a new experience. Like like I remember reading Naruto. I read Naruto before like I watched more of it, and I can still to this day remember the panel about Itachi. Like I can remember where I was. I remember what I was doing. I remember all that kind of stuff because it was such like a crazy panel to me. And then watching it animated, I've got that same sense. Like I got that
Yeah,
sense of like, oh my god, I can't believe that.
Morgan, I
Like
agree. Morgan said
so
Demon Slayer's top tier. You get even more invested when you get manga first.
yeah, I agree. Like when you take the time to read the story and it sucks you in, because reading, unlike watching, it takes effort. Like you have to focus. You can watch and like you could put it on the background. And you kind of don't have to watch it. Like sometimes like you can just like glance over and like you kind of just know what's going on. Reading, you have to put your full effort into it, and like rarely like especially with Demon Slayer, I never felt like I was wasting my time. Like I never felt like the story was like slow or that I was like I was wasting my time reading this. Like I don't ever get that sense with manga. And like I get that sense more watching than I do reading. Because
Yeah.
watching a lot of the time I just feel like I'm wasting my time like watching like just a
It
pointless episode.
yeah, and obviously especially now, I mean it was different, when we were in high school and college, but especially now like I reading is so much easier. Like way easier
Yeah,
because I
yep,
can read so much faster. I can get so much more story
yep.
in one night than I ever could like in probably a day
Mhm.
trying to watch a
Oh,
20 episode manga.
I've
Yeah.
read probably like 150 to 200 chapters like in a day before.
Oh,
Like
easy. Yeah,
just
like
reading like
yeah.
I've finished multiple like
Mhm.
mangas just in
Like
a day
like
because
Tower of
like
God, like these webtoons are different because like a lot of the chapters have like hundreds of pages. I mean, they're panels,
yep.
whatever. Um, but Tower of God was different for me. Usually, I can read a 400-page one in like 2 3 days. You know,
Mhm.
4 days,
Yeah.
1 week for sure. Tower of God took me like 2.5 weeks because it was just so. I think it's one of the more fleshed out ones and a big reason like I'm a very huge fan of it. But yeah, I mean like but that's an outlier. Usually when I read it's like 2 3 4 days and I'm through to and I'm caught up on the story,
Yeah.
which I love that. Of course, that's bad because then I run out of manga quicker, but I can't help
Mhm.
myself. I'm a glutton. Um, but so we are over our hour that I want to keep. I want to try and keep these two, which is fine. It's the first one. So
Everybody in the chat, all y'all motherfuckers that want to read, y'all need to go to the App
there you go.
Store and download
I'll put it
MangaZone
in.
because
I'll put it in the description.
that's where we read all these webtoons and stuff. It's the first place. I love having an app. In high school, I
Hmm.
had an app on my phone that I could read from, and I much
No,
I much
Morgan,
I
it's a
much
webtoon. It's a
prefer
Korean webtoon.
yeah, I much prefer like reading from an app than I do like a site just because like it's easier for me, I guess, and like I like that sense of like availability. But
So tell them
um
what the name of it is again.
it's MangaZone with an exclamation point at the end. It's just MangaZone.
I'll
That's if you type it
I'll
in,
put
it's
it in the
purple.
description there, guys.
Um here, hold on, I'll show you.
But yeah, yeah, Matt showed me this app probably 4 or 5 months ago.
It's that one
Probably 4 or 5 months ago.
on
Um,
the end.
I've
You can see it.
and I'm it's
Not
probably it's probably the greatest thing that's
that
ever
one.
happened to me.
That one right
So
there. Which
right there,
everybody can see it.
I'm putting the cursor over it. Yep, right there. Um, but yeah, it has so much. Like there's everything. I mean,
Oh,
it has manga.
it's
Like
so
it has
it's
shonen
so
manga
much. Yeah,
and
it's so much stuff on there.
but actually bad news. It seems like solo leveling and Tower of God are blocked on there for whatever reason. Right now.
Oh well, solo leveling's taking a break.
Yeah,
Like
but
solo leveling is
I
like
don't know
taking a break.
why. And God of High School, I don't know why they're blocked right now. But there's so much more to read. It doesn't really matter. Um,
Wait, are they really? Let me go look.
yeah, go look. It's weird. They've been like that for a few days. I don't know why it's like
They'll
that.
probably like move it. But like honestly, oh yeah, some of them are. Wow, that's weird.
Yeah,
But I honestly like it, the way that the way that I've like read them. Some like most of them, it's just like through this app, and you can find them almost anywhere. Like
yeah,
if
you
you look
can.
them up, like you
Yeah,
can find them anywhere.
Kiss Manga
There,
has
there's
them.
there's an actual like webtoon. Like if you want to read like these Korean ones, there's an actual site, like a
Yeah,
original site for them.
yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but like if you look up like just solo leveling, like
Mhm.
solo leveling
I think
chapters or
it's
like
just called
solo leveling
Webtoons.
chapter one,
I
yeah, like
see
you'll be able to find it. Like and
ads for it all the time.
yeah, and you'll be able to find them. And they're really easy to read. Like honestly, like if you don't read often, like they're super easy to read because they're colored and like all that kind of stuff. So like it's super easy to get
Super
into.
nice. After coming
Yeah,
from black
and
and white for
yeah,
years,
yep,
it's just and it's a breath of fresh air, and it's a
yeah.
big
It
reason
feels
like
new.
we
It
have
feels
gotten
new.
so into it in the past few months is like it's just a breath of fresh
I
air.
think I've read probably like 100 like stories in like the past couple months just from this that app. Like I feel like I've read so much,
Yeah.
and there's so many. Like there's a way to like on the app if you ever want if y'all do download it. There's a way like on the it says discover and you go to all and it does popular,
Yeah.
and from there like you can see like the most popular ones and like you can see the ones that people are reading and stuff like that. And there's a good some like I would do and you click on it, it gives you the rating five is the highest rating, and anything above like a
Ye-
4.5, I think I've read.
So I've read down to a 4.2, and it was still very good. I forget what it was. I don't know if it's apotheosis or God of Martial
Usually,
Arts, but
usually if it's high up, I'll
yeah,
read it.
yeah,
Like it doesn't bother me.
yeah.
But
I agree
and
with that.
so like, but you're safe, I would say. And like, there's good like layouts. Like there's good like if you've read some of them or you've watched some of these stories, you can see like where that story is compared to these other ones, and then go and then read anything above that one. So like a good example is Goblin Slayer, for example, is like pretty low down on the
You're welcome,
list,
Derek.
and I loved Goblin Slayer. Goblin Slayer was really good, but there's so much ahead of it. There's so
Mm-hmm.
much more that people
Yep.
are like. There's so many stories that are above it. So if you guys like, if you guys just ever get bored, like it's something like I recommend. Like it was a good time.
Yep.
Like I've read so much out of this stupid little app. because it has so much on it. I don't know how they do that,
I don't
but
either.
there's so much. Like
Yeah.
there's
It's
so
like
many chapters.
it's like uh what did we just what is the movie show website we just lost?
Oh, admit me.
Admit Me. It's like Admit Me, just manga. Like
Yep.
like I don't know how they do it for like, cause I mean you can pay to like there's some that you can pay to like get new chat like that like you have to pay to get the new chapters for, but like
Hmm.
like there's no way they make enough off of this to like
No,
make it.
no.
So I don't know how they do it. And they have ads in the panels, but I
Yeah.
still don't know how they make enough. But whatever, I'm not complaining. It's great. Um, so, but yeah. So okay, there's the app we use, which I wanted to finish off with. And I guess last thing in our little hour here, is we would like you guys. I would. Matt might have a different opinion, but I won't help. Hey press. I won't help naming this podcast because I am not an extremely creative person, and naming my characters in RPGs is a huge thing for me, and I'll spend an hour on it. Um, but I would like help naming this. Um, Matt Matt has our like his little room here called in the Discord called Gopher's Garden, which I like. I like that name, and I think it would be good for a podcast. But it's not very anime, which Matt brought up, which is a good point. It's not very anime. It's you don't get that feeling, which it's for me like a garden. It's like a type of place for a discussion type of thing, which is why I said that. Um, but uh, I guess we could come up with like ideas and put a poll or something. But
Yeah, and if you guys ever
yeah,
if you guys read a story or an anime, most likely we've watched it or
yeah,
like read it.
mhm,
So if you ever like want to ask opinions
yep,
about it or like want to like get like us to see like what we think about it or like a certain thing, you can always like ask a comment. Like I'm sure Bobo, if you will post this on YouTube and like if or like in the chat if y'all ever like when we come back, you can always like ask like what like if we have opinions on like a certain story or like if
mhm.
we've read like a certain thing or
Yeah,
like
and y'all can do
if
that
we
obviously in the chat and in YouTube comments. We'll um and if this if we get some type of support on this, I'll probably make a new YouTube channel just for it. Um, right now I'm just gonna upload it to mine because it's just easier at the moment, and Matt doesn't really have a YouTube channel. Um, but I'll probably make one for it. Once we have a name for it, I'll definitely make one. Um, and so
yeah,
so it
I
can
don't
all
care
go
what name
there.
it is. You guys just figure it out. I mean, I really don't care.
I'll have to head that up, I'm sure.
Peepo.
Jesus. All right, so I guess that's it. Yeah, if you guys have any if you
Bye
guys
guys.
if you guys have anything you want us to talk about next time, Matt, I haven't come up with a schedule in my head for this, but I was thinking maybe twice a month or something like that. Um, but yeah. So if you guys have anything else you want to us to talk about next time, let us know. So bye guys, thanks for watching. And Matt, take us out, dude. Take us out. Take us out, Peepo.
See
Bye guys.